Put your name on it. Just put your name on it. That's all I say. Be a man or a woman. Put your name on it.
Well, I'd like to hear about it, potheads.
How the fuck you gonna know how to be great if you don't study greatness? Look at the game tape.
Donuts.
If you want a battle, it's either that you will or you won't.
You know, you're not a bad-looking man, Mr. Gals.
But you are, Blanche. You are in that chair.
There's something wrong with us. Something very, very wrong with us.
Hey, man.
We're rolling.
May we begin?
We may begin.
Diamond Dallas Page in the house. I'm Mohr Stories. My man, first of all, you're a big glass of water, dude. You hugged me. Actually, you went for the handshake, and I went for the hug.
Well, actually, I'm a hug dude, and I see you coming with a hug. I'm going right for the broski hug, though.
I don't think a lot of people would think Diamond Dallas Page of the.
Dude, Vince McMahon and Steve Austin, when they started hugging, was off the rib off of me. When I finally met Vince McMahon, he went to shake my hand. I said, and we were in traffic, like big time to get there. Plus, I'm a guy who grew up in Jersey. So I grew up watching the WWF. So I've been watching Vince since I'm like 16.
Yeah.
So when I got to him, I go, no, dude, handshake ain't going to cut it. I gave him the big hug. And next thing you know, every time Austin and McMahon saw each other on the tube, they would hug.
They give a big hug.
Big hug.
They stole hugging from you.
They
Diamond Dallas Page invented the hug.
It was a rib.
Every time you hug somebody, Diamond Dallas Page gets $5. That's what people don't realize.
Woo, that would be sweet.
You start, first of all, I'm going to go back to South Jersey because I spent my summers in Barnegat Bay. My grandfather was in Bayville and, you know, Tom's River and all that.
Sure.
So I know you're a Point Pleasant guy, right?
Yep. I got thrown out of St. Joe's, which is in Tom's River.
Didn't they change the name to St. Joe's?
It's like Senior, I can't remember his name. It was a head priest there, Monsignor or something, and he was buzzed all the time. He loved his wine.
Why'd you get tossed out of St. Joe's?
Oh God, that was after sophomore year. The girls' locker room was right across from the guys, and it was like a ritual. Girls would get thrown in the guys' locker room. It was like happened year after year. I mean, this just happened every day. And the one time that I'm involved in it, and we, put this guy, I'll never forget her name, Beth Zalzatowski. We throw her in the middle, and she's like, oh, and I'm thinking, guys, we did this too early. And everybody, was dressed. And, she's looking around, and then I just mooned her on the way out. And the next morning, it was like the Gestapo, man. They pulled me, Stan, and Mark to separate rooms, and I took the fall for mooning in Catholic high school.
That you took the heat. You didn't rat on anybody.
Well, we just told it the way it went down, and there was someone was going to not get the 49 demerits. Someone was going to get tossed out, and I took the fall.
You were that guy. In the beginning, we're going to talk about Dallas Diamond Page yoga, which is it's like the new P90X. It's sweeping the country. It's
cool.
I didn't realize how damn amazing it was. I got wind of it about a year ago, and then when I was looking through Twitter and stuff, and I looked online, people are just sending you photo after photo, like, I weighed 400 pounds, now I weigh 200 pounds, I'm built like a brick shithouse, I bench press DJI Fridays. Like, people do yoga, the Dallas Diamond Page yoga.
Or Diamond Dallas Page.
What did I say?
Dallas Diamond Dallas Page.
All right, well, either way works for me.
So it is. It's just DDP.
DDP? That sounds like a finishing move.
It is. Actually, Jake's DDT and my diamond cutter were so close that it was sort of easy for people to start chanting DDP because of, I guess he was my mentor too. So,
yeah, I saw on your Wikipedia page that you went to Jake the Snake for psychological advice to deal with the industry. Now, of all the people in the wrestling world to go to get your head straight, I would think Jake the Snake Roberts maybe lower third on that list, if not dead last.
Well, maybe.
Guy walked into the ring with a goddamn snake around his neck in a bag.
In real life, in the match, in the ring, the stories he told, are epic.
Yeah.
And he had probably some of the greatest feuds and greatest matches of all time. And that, everyone knew that he was the best psychologist in the business. Now, outside of the ring, maybe not so much.
What do you mean? Like, what do you mean? What best psychologist in the business?
Well, you got to remember that I don't want to spoil this for anybody, but wrestling's predetermined, And
What?
Sorry to spoil that for some of you.
What?
But there's a story. It's just like a movie. And, being a writer and a comic, you know that there's the high points you hit and the low points, and then you bring them back up. And for wrestling, it's about making the good guy look good and then the bad guy cheating, and then how they tell that story to get to the spot where now they're actually going for finishes and trying to win and giving them false finishes and making the people actually 1, 2, It's a work. But they're in it because it's like live Broadway. Jake, nobody did it better than Jake.
Yeah, Jake was a creepy guy. Like, the fact that he brought a boa constrictor in the ring, but it was in that weird sack. Like, if you walked in with a snake around your neck, that's creepy. But the fact that he just kept it in like a weird burlap sack, and you never knew when he was going to let it out,
Right.
like, that's really like other level creep factor, man.
And then he took it to the Cobra. And the Cobra was, who wants to face a Cobra no matter what? It ain't like he's dropping that Cobra on top of you. But he lanced it right into Randy Savage's arm and it chewed on him. Because Cobras don't snap, they gnaw.
But aren't they poisonous? Why didn't...
Well, they take their, again, he lost that Cobra in my house.
Hey, please explain.
Oh, man.
He was, when I tore my rotator cuff, I started wrestling when I was 35. And I tore my rotator cuff about 9 months in, and they let me go. It's like wrestling meat on the hoof. They don't, it's like football. And Jake, at that time, we'd already become buds, and I hadn't seen him for a while. And he called me up to check on me. Long story short, he was split up with his old lady. He ended up moving in with me. I convinced my old lady to let him move in, and she was like, "No snakes." I'm like, "Of course, no snakes," But I didn't. We're gonna hide it. It's not like it's gonna be in a bag, in a box, So it's not like she's ever going to see the snake. And then about 3 months in, and I've learned a lot from Jake by that time. My shoulders getting back. I'm actually getting ready to start doing some independent shows with Jake, who was bringing me in. He was mentoring me. And one night I hear this crazy laughter. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And then I hear it again. And I look out the hallway, and I see Jake, and he's got that black 12-foot-long Cobra, and he's playing with it. So I'm like, what the fuck? And I go running down the stairs, and as I stop, there's that laughter again, and it's Kimberly. So I just walk right on by that, and I go right into the kitchen because I got a call about getting this gig because Jake was also teaching me how to set, get myself with the promoters and how to get myself booked. And so now I'm on the phone with this promoter. About 10 minutes later, I get the gig, hang up, and I come walking out to high-five Jake. He's nowhere around. All of a sudden, he comes walking down the stairs. I'm like, dude, high-five me. I got the gig. And he blows right by me. He goes, big problems, big problems. I go, what do you mean big problems? He goes, lost a snake. I'm like, what? He goes, lost the snake. I go, fuck you, man. Don't tell me you lost the snake. I go, stop ripping. He goes, dude. And he grabs me. He goes, I can't find it. I go, where the fuck is it? He goes, it's in the bathroom. I go, it's this big. It's like 5 feet. It's a little bathroom with a little shower and stuff. So we both look in the door. Now, people don't notice about Jake, but he's scared to death of snakes. Swear to God. Swear to God. Well, when he's Jake the Snake on TV, he can be bigger than life, or when he's high. And I don't know it at the time, but he's high as hell right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, in the documentary we've seen, Jake was no stranger to the substances, but I wasn't going to bring it up until you opened it up, because I don't want to throw your guy under the bus.
No, because that's part of what his whole story is about, and overcoming the addictions right now. The bottom line is we get in there.
He's afraid of snakes.
Oh, man.
So we're looking in the bathroom, right? And we can't, it's like I'm scared of snakes, and I'm definitely scared of a cobra, because I never asked him, is it devenomized? So we're looking around, and all of a sudden he gets on his knees, and then he hits the vanity. And he goes, because that's what cobras do. Snakes go, tss, cobras go, and he goes, he gets up, he goes, he'll come out. I'll get him in the morning. And he goes to walk out of the bed, like, where the fuck you go? And he goes, I'll come back in the morning. I'm like, Jake, no. Now, I'm jabroni boy, Jake. I'm like way under him at this time. I'm like, Jake, you can't leave here. Get the fucking snake out. Kim's going to go crazy. And he's like, dude.
Kim is your wife.
Kim is my wife at the time. He's like, dude, I'll be back in the morning. I'll get him out. Jake takes off. My old lady freaked out.
So he just closed the bathroom door and
put pillows in front because I had cats. and they would jump up and open the door. So when she wakes up in the morning,
circus cats.
Oh man,
what kind of cat knows how to open a door?
They were like little levers. They just jump up and they would open the door. So I didn't want one of them to walk in there and they get eaten by the fucking snake.
Yeah.
So long story short, she starts healing on me. So I do what I have to do. I start healing on her. I'm like, hey, it's all right. I'm going to get the snake out. He's going to be back here this morning. And she's running around, Sophie, Spooky, grabbing her cats and
Smokey and Spooky.
Yeah, it's like,
wonder what color they were.
It was like Barnum and Bailey at that point. And she's like, but Paige, what happens if the snake snuck up into the wall? I go, he's not going to be stuck up into the wall. She goes, but when they push those vanities in, they don't put the sheetrock all the way to the bottom. And I'm going, oh, fuck.
Oh, she's right.
What if that snake goes up into the wall?
Then
it's not going to go over the wall. Blah, blah, blah. Bottom line is Jake came back 3 days later.
Oh, jeez.
And
now the snake's 6 feet long.
So I ended up getting a snake handler guy to come out.
What?
Well, it was actually an
Did he have like a flute?
Well, he was an
magic carpet.
An animal wrangler. And you know, like that little board that's in front of your vanity, they all got him,
Yeah.
And he pulls the board out, and there's that snake, and there's the sheetrock, like 8 inches from the ground. All that cobra's got to do is duck his head and take off. And then the wrangler looks at me and goes, by the way, is this snake devenomized? I go, I don't know. He goes, what do you mean you don't know? I go, it's not mine. So we got the snake, and
how did he get like that long, the stick with the hook on the end and stuff?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. He hooked him, put him in a bag, and then put him in a box, and Jake was gone after that.
Now, did Jake ever go like, hey man, whatever happened to my snake?
Oh, but when he came back, he knew, because he went off and he was,
but he never asked for the snake back.
He got this. He gave him the snake. Get him the hell out of my house.
Oh, all right. What's a snake like that cost? Got to be like $1,000.
Oh, got to be more than that. Dude.
More, right?
I think people pretty much.
A cobra?
Dude, yeah, cobra.
They're not like from around here.
Like a corn snake is like $100.
The fuck is a corn snake?
It's like a little non-venomous fucking tiny little snake.
Why do you get to curse so much? Sorry, Dallas.
Sorry, sir. I'm sorry.
Did you really sue Jay-Z for the diamond cutter hand signal?
It wasn't the hand signal, and all I'm allowed to say about that is the matter's been resolved. But I can't
ongoing litigation, or it's done, and you sign a piece of paper saying after
cool.
this I won't talk about it anymore. That's why you say what you're saying.
I won't talk about it anymore. But it wasn't about the hand sign. It was about the logo. The logo that was the hand sign. Sort of like think of like the apple. Like take an apple and take a bite out of it and put it up as your logo somewhere, see what happens.
But it's resolved now.
Oh, yeah. And I actually left on really good terms with Jay-Z, and everything was cool. So, you don't want to, super Trump-like billionaires on your hit list.
No, you don't.
No.
What's amazing is, like, you were talking earlier about being like a jabroni, and I know, like, you were a jobber for a while, but I only know you as when you were Diamond Dallas Page, you were a star. Like, you were the guy. You had the big 80s metal hairband hair.
Yeah.
So it's weird that, like, you started, was AWA, you were an actual manager.
Yeah. You
Kurt Hennig was your boy.
Yep.
And Colonel De Beers? Colonel De Beers, yeah. So, like, it's strange to me because I never knew you as anything other than, Dallas Page. Like, you were the guy. You were like one of the main stars when I was watching wrestling. Right. So it's weird. I don't think people listening to the podcast realize how much work you put in on a lower level.
Yeah, I think that's in everything. Any kind of informed entertainment. Of course, some people.
Well, I don't think the fucking Rock was tooling around Tennessee as a wrestling manager.
No. He was a gifted one, and there's certain guys that are gifted, and look at him today. I guess so. He had a certain destiny he made happen. For me, I wanted to wrestle when I was 22, and it didn't work out. But I got to run my first nightclub when I was 23. And I tore my knee, and I had to mend back from that. So I got lost in the booze, the broads, and the party. And I had a ton of fun. And at some point, I thought, I'm too old to be a wrestler, but I still want to be a part of this business. I'm going to come up with Diamond Dallas Page and the Diamond Exchange and the Diamond Dolls. And it was all in the back bar, drinking and having fun. That's where it all came from. And then I got asked, I was interviewed for my nightclub because it was pretty hot in Southwest Florida. And they were doing the guy behind the voice, because I could do Macho Man, and I might throw him into my spots, dig it, yeah, and I would do that, and I could do.
Give me a your mustache is crooked.
Your mustache is crooked. Oh yeah, your mustache is kind of crooked.
He always used to say that to Mean Gene Okerlund.
Yeah, it was
your mustache is crooked.
He was a very cool guy. He was the guy too that really rocketed my career.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, because you guys had a huge feud.
Huge. 97 was the feud of the year. And if you just go back a year before that, I'm nowhere near that. But the Diamond Cutter just kept getting more and more over and over and over. And I did that thing with the NWO with Scott and Kev, and that was the what lit the rocket for me. And it just took Randy hopping on board, and we created this feud. Now, here's what the backstory. The backstory.
Real quick, don't forget where you are. But like when this feud gets created, is that like at WWE headquarters? Does Vince come to you guys and go, "I got a great idea," or do you guys go to Vince with ideas, or are there like an army of middlemen that just come up with ideas for the WWE wrestling?
Well, now this is back WCW, so this is even before Vince. This is when we are just starting to kick Vince's ass.
Yeah,
like our
that's when Hogan went over to NWO.
Yeah, he was already there though. He'd been there for years, but he went to the NWO when he went bad guy.
Yeah.
And when he went bad guy in 96, boom, that really exploded everything. But it was Scott and Kev coming over from the WWE at that time that started it, the whole ignition. But when it came down to the backstory is I tell Eric Bischoff, because in 95 and 96, they're not doing anything with me. And my wife, my ex-wife now, she was beautiful. And she was in a bunch of different Playboys, blondes, brunettes, or redheads, the satellite issues. And she'd done a bunch of those photo shoots. So this woman named Cynthia Kay came to her and said, listen, we're doing Playboy celebrity nudes. You're on TV with Dallas. We'd like to put you both in it. I'm like, what do you mean put us both in it? I see you going in it. She's going, no, they just want you to like me to be just about getting into my dress as you're tying up your boots. So I'm like, okay, like what the hell? They're not. WCW is creating nothing for me, and I'm in the middle guy before everything explodes. And we do the shoot, and they love it so much they call us back. They said we were going to give you 2 pages. We want to give you 6, so we'd like you to come back. So we go back and we shoot all this other stuff.
That's all because of how good looking you were, though.
Yeah, Kimberly looked awesome, but they liked the wrestling thing. Wrestling was so hot, So they of course wanted to grab a little piece of that. And it was, I went to Bishop about a month and a half before it came out, and I said, I got to tell you something, man. I'm going to come out in Playboy. And he goes, what? And I was like, it's not me. It's actually Kim.
You should have told him, no, I got a vagina, man. I posed. I posed for Playboy with my sweet bush.
No, I'm not going there.
Shit.
But long story short, it was like, well, God, you have a morality clause, and you could lose you could lose your job. And I was like, well, maybe Vince will do something with it. And of course, they made it the angle. And that's the whole thing. Elizabeth and Macho came out and exposed that Kimberly was really my wife in Playboy. And it was a great rub for the magazine and everything. And it just, again, put more layers on our feud, which was amazing for me.
So, but same question, though, even though it wasn't WWE. Who comes up with the ideas for feuds? Who comes up with the ideas for storylines? How many people between Vince and the performer, like yourself or the guys wrestling today, is there like an army of people in like boardrooms that just think about this shit nonstop?
Today there are, but the boys are always thinking about, that angle was totally mine. Me and Carl Malone against Rodman and Hogan. We shoot the angle on the Tonight Show. Totally mine. Because I always thought that people weren't just like you come up with your own jokes and your own storylines and stuff, and you have other buddies who go, oh, but you could do this too, and adds to the spice and makes it even better sometimes. But it's really like nobody cares about your career more than you.
Yeah, you're right.
So and for me, I realized in the beginning, like you talked about early, being a manager in the '80s, and I did that for 3.5 years. And it cost me money to be Diamond Dallas Page, just like when you started off as a comic. It cost you money.
Yeah.
And people don't know how hard that road is for everybody who has to travel it. And those little hotels, rooms that are dingy as hell, and you don't get to sleep. And, thank God you're young enough that you can party.
Yeah. I used to drive to my gigs. I would drive like 8 hours for $50. I just wanted to work. And I always thought, like, if I get to this place and they like me, they'll bring me back for $150, which back in 1988, 87 was like $1 million. And I only traveled, I had one duffel bag of clothes. The other duffel bag was just a boom box with cassettes. And I'd get, I swear to God, bro, and I would get to like a hotel room in like Bath, New York, like way up in upstate New York. And I'd get in that shit hotel room and I'd have my boom box with my cassettes. And I was like, I've made it. I made
that's all you needed.
That's all I needed.
You know?
That's success.
Yeah, you couldn't handle that shit today.
No, I'd be like, "There's no spa.
No.
I need my steam. I gotta get my massage."
I am a hotel room snob, and I tell people, I said, "Listen, if you can't put me in a minimum of 4-star, I'm not going. I don't need the gig. I don't want the gig because the bed is important. I'm bringing my own pillow." But the bed is important to me because my body's beat the hell up, you know.
How did you? Yeah, it seems like every time you got your career going, Dallas, there was like a different injury that derailed. Like right out of the gate, 9 months in, you get hurt.
Yeah.
And then you get hurt. I think it was WWE. You got hurt, and they just kind of they were great. It seems like they were gracious to just kind of let you die a natural death out on the vine. Like they didn't make they didn't Jimmy Snooker you and have people like doing pile drivers on a cement floor to you to get you out of the league.
Well, they knew I wasn't coming back then too, you know, because normally they'll do that to get so there's an angle to come back with. But for me, that's where DDP yoga comes from, because I'm a guy who wouldn't be caught dead doing yoga the first 42 years of my life. But when you start wrestling at 35, your career takes off at 40, which was 96. 97, 98, I was on top of the world. Just did the Malone stuff with Malone and Rodman against me and Malone against Rodman and Hogan. We shot the angle on the Tonight Show. I mean, my exposure level was through the friggin' roof.
I'll take Karl Malone all day. That guy's. Does any wrestler with a body like Karl Malone? It's crazy, right?
Yeah, he was in the greatest shape, and he loved the business, and he wanted to learn.
I love wrestling. I'm Karl Malone.
Oh, that's pretty good.
He's one of my all-time favorite players, man.
So second lead scorer in the league still.
That's true.
Yep.
When you are a manager, we'll let the helicopters go by. We don't give a shit on more stories. Other pussy podcasts will be like, break, we got to clear up the sound.
Fuck that.
We keep it real.
That's right.
There's a helicopter outside.
Fuck it.
When you're a manager in wrestling, especially in the level that you were at, and like you said, you were losing money, if I'm a wrestler and there's a promoter, at what point do I think it's a good idea to cut you into it as a manager? Like, are you going to help me sell tickets? It seems like you're just like an extra dude.
Yeah, and for me, though...
Like, there's the Jimmy... Sorry to interrupt you, but there are the Jimmy Harts.
Oh, yeah.
I always hated Bob Backlund's manager. I didn't even know why that guy... Arnold Skolin? I didn't know why he was... What?
History, that's why he was there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, the mouth of Freddie Blassie was a wrestler, obviously.
Right.
Like, the Grand Wizard, all these guys. Like, there's some wrestlers you go, I get it. They're selling tickets. They're out there out front. But, like, at the level you were at, you know, when you're doing, like, medium-sized rooms and stuff, I don't understand why somebody would cut you in, because now we got to split the money 3 ways instead of 2.
Well, you don't get anywhere near as much as the guy gets in the ring. And the main stuff I was doing was TV. And they needed some guy, when I was a kid, I was 30 then, 31, 32, 33, and they didn't know. I looked like I was in my 20s, so I was just a kid who had a big mouth and a cool look that could give some panache to some of the smaller federations that were trying to get themselves seen. AWA, like the classics, ESPN Classics still plays that 80s stuff.
I love it.
And that's the stuff that, you know, I had no idea what I was doing, Jay. I mean, I really did.
So what would they ask you? First of all, how do you become a wrestling manager? Like, there's no job application that says I wish to. So you must be around it and then say, I'm not wrestling, but how about you let me get on the mic and talk a whole bunch of shit and get people riled up, and then they'll come see your guy in the next city?
Well, here's what happened for me. I did that. They did that interview on me, like when they did the Man Behind the Voice, and I'm sitting in my bar in the back room.
This from your nightclub in Florida when you were like 23, 24 years old.
Well, no, this time I was 30, 31. Okay. And that night before, I'd come up with the idea, and we're just shooting the shit. It came off watching a Cyndi Lauper video and saying, I should have been a part of that. And then the shots started flying with the beers, and, you know, 3 hours later, I've got written on my pad in front of my desk, you know, my scratch pad, Diamond Dallas Page, the Diamond Dolls, the Diamond Exchange, Diamond Dallas Page, and BADD Bad. That's what was all written there. And at some point, the next day or a day after, I don't remember how long ago it was, but they come in to interview me about the guy behind the voice. They got me in the studio. They got me in my 62 pink Cadillac. Like, I have this footage. And at some point, they say, so where does the voice come from? There's a pair of sunglasses sitting there. I throw them on. I go, the voice comes from Diamond Dallas Page, Daddy. I was born to be a professional wrestling manager. Something like that. It's Norma Jean's voice, blah, blah, blah. And someone saw it. And you know how a break, right? A radio guy sees it, and he calls me up. And he says, I want you to come on my show. I go, dude, I don't really do it. He goes, who gives it? Who gives a shit? It's radio.
Yeah, I know.
So I come on and I do, this thing with him. It was Captain Lou Albano. I get to talk to the captain. I'm like, this
Did he have rubber bands taped to his face?
I guess he did. Well, he was on the phone. And then I did one with Sergeant Slaughter. And the guy says to me, he's he used to be a boxer and stuff. And he's involved in all of that boxing and wrestling stuff. So he said, I have a friend of mine who just started working at the AWA. He used to be a boxing promoter. You should send him a tape. So I'm thinking, I walk away from that. I got the number. I'm thinking, I'm going to make up a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So I came up with 3 different wrestlers and a midget. I called him Ted He-Bear and the Diamond Dolls.
You lied on your resume by creating fake people, not fake jobs. Fake people.
But Jay, it was so when they got it.
Ted E-Bear. E-Bear.
When they got the video, because it's VHS back then, right? They said, we want to bring you in and your boys for a tryout. Swear to God. And I'm like, oh, shit. He's going, but we've got one question. I've shown the tape around to the guys here. This is the AWA, which was pretty big at one time.
Real
Hogan
fucking
was there,
big.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Gene Okerlund, Bobby, everybody. Jesse Ventura. And he says, we've shown the tape around, and everybody likes your stick, but no one's ever heard of you. Where are you guys working? And I'm like, oh, shit. I go, well, none of those guys can wrestle. He's like, what? He goes, why would you send me the tape? I go, well, because they want to learn how to wrestle, but it's like a secret society getting in. I go, but I could manage right now. And it was like, don't call us, we'll call you. Now, everything in your life has happened for a reason, one way or another. At that time, Paul Heyman, who is Paulie Dangerously, he leaves the AWA and he goes to work for the NWA, which is about to become WCW.
Yeah.
And it leaves a huge hole up there, a void of a young guy that can talk. Because if they're losing more and more talent, they need somebody fresh who at least can speak for those wrestlers who can't talk.
Yeah.
So that's how I got the gig.
And so, when you got a guy that I don't think people realize how much of the gig is being able to string sentences together and sell tickets. If you go up to the Saddle Dome in Calgary and they put you on mic, you can't go, it's pretty cool. You got to say, like, this country is a pile of garbage. You got to sell it. Man, so if a guy, you're telling me, and I didn't really even put that together until you just said it, there's guys that just simply can't really talk on mic or on camera. They freak out, so you do the talking for them.
And try to sell the ticket for them. And what's the funny is it finally got, after 3.5 years, I got to WCW. I sold out my interest in the club. And at 35, I moved to Atlanta. Now, the negative thing about being in the bar business and living on the edge of a lightning bolt, I pissed away my money as fast as I made it. So when I sold all my shit out, I was pretty much had enough to get me to the next gig and moving in with one of my buddies into one of his hotel rooms. Into one of his rooms that he had in his sweet crib.
Did he have any snakes?
He had no snakes.
See, I'm king of the callbacks, man. Hey, if you go to jmohr.com, click the Amazon banner. And if you want to go buy Diamond Dallas Page Yoga, DDP, there's a whole bunch. There's DVDs. There's a whole program. There's a nutritional program. It's astounding how great this stuff is. And that P90X shit always bothered me. Because I always, after all those P90X commercials, I was left with this weird feeling like, let me get this straight. You just took out a commercial to let me know that if I work out for 90 minutes every day for 90 days, I'm going to lose weight. No shit. Yeah. That's kind of how it works, asshole. But DDP Yoga is what I like about it is it's such a unique approach, and we're going to talk a lot about it and hit it real hard because people need to know about it. And I'm going to do it, and I'm going to have my wife do it, and we're going to report back to you and give an update. So buy it at Amazon. But what you want to do instead of going to Amazon.com, put jmohr.com up on your toolbar because I have an Amazon banner on my website. Click the Amazon banner at jmohr.com. Buy stuff. Doesn't cost you anything. I get a kickback. It helps keep the podcast afloat. Helps us buy all these cool fake mustaches. And then I'll read what you bought if you email me on this podcast. Like, check this out, Dallas. This guy named Mario. See, you're from Jersey. You say Mario.
Yeah, Mario.
Yeah, but everybody else says Mario.
I guess.
We're the only ones that say Mario.
Right. What part of Jersey are you from?
Verona, up by Giant Stadium. Yeah. Bloomfield Avenue, man. 07044. Mario says, hey, JJ, I just bought a bunch 40 rawhide dog bones, and a 6-amp Schumacher speed charger, car battery charger maintainer. By clicking through your website to Amazon, I've bought many other things this way, and I'm happy to support you for the many great free podcasts. I love the Jay Leno one. It was outstanding. Mario. Hey, Mario, guess what? You're famous, bro. I just put you on more stories. This goes out to Mario. Now you got to go buy DDP Yoga. Let's take a quick commercial, and then we're going to get into that real quick right now. DDP Yoga is a proven exercise program that has changed the lives of thousands of people around the world. My friends, it's called yoga, but this is not your mama's yoga. Diamond Dallas Page is a former heavyweight champion pro wrestler who developed this program as a high-energy, assertive way to get fit while being easy on the joints. If you need a workout that helps you build strength, increase flexibility, and burn calories, we want to burn calories, right? Diamond Dallas Page is offering my listeners a great deal on his most popular workouts for a very limited time. Listen up. The Max Pack, that includes 15 workouts that can take anyone from a beginner to an elite athlete. The 5 DVD set also comes with a nutrition guide, meal planner, handy chart of the core positions, and downloadable MP3 workouts. Go to ddpyoga.com/jmohr or click the banner on jmohr.com to take advantage of a special offer only available to my listeners. The rest of the country, they can't get it. It's for you only. Once again, that's ddpyoga.com/jmohr or click the banner at jmohr.com to get this deal. I'm telling you, I've been doing it for 2 weeks, and my body looks nice.
When shopping for car insurance, consider this. Geico has been saving people money on car insurance for over 75 years. So if you're serious about savings, it's simple. Go to geico.com. After 75 years, they know how to save you money.
Geico presents Fan Mail to a Pig.
Dear Maxwell, I just want to say thank you for making my Geico Insurance ID card digital. It's easy to find on the app. It doesn't give me paper cuts, and I always have it on hand because it's on my phone. Because of this, I finally cleaned out my glove box, which was filled with years of paper ID cards. Any thought on what I should put in my glove box now? Sincerely, Trent Patterson. Trent, what can you put in the glove box? Here's a crazy thought. How about gloves?
Digital insurance ID cards, just a tap away on the Geico app.
Once in a while, a breakthrough product comes along and changes the way we live. If you want to help keep your skin looking younger, you need to know about HelioCare. The sun can do some pretty terrible things to your skin. Sun damage can happen even on cloudy or overcast days. You don't even know what's happening, and your skin's getting blasted by the sun through the clouds. Just walking to the mailbox or driving or walking your dogs every day can add up to older-looking skin. HelioCare is a daily-use dietary supplement. It contains P-L-E, which you may have heard about on TV, and you take it just like a multivitamin. HelioCare's antioxidant formula helps your skin protect itself from the aging effects of the sun year-round. That's why thousands of dermatologists have requested samples of HelioCare for their patients. That should tell you something right there. If you've ever worried about sun damage, if your family has a history of sun-related skin problems, you need to start taking HelioCare. Buy a 2-month supply of HelioCare at Walgreens and Rite Aid in the vitamin section. Look for the yellow and black box or visit heliocare.com. Dallas, how does a guy that's probably just been like racking weights and decacycles his entire life downshift all the way to yoga? When I think yoga, I think of like a doughy lady in her 50s or 60s carrying a yoga mat. She's got her yoga pants, and she smells like patchouli oil. And I'm always next to her hoping she doesn't fart or that I don't fart. And I don't exactly expect somebody to look like you, who's built like a brick shithouse, to be the result of yoga.
Well, again, necessity, for me. Because when you start wrestling at 35 and your career takes off at 40, I was doing really anything to hold back the hands of time because I knew my career wasn't going to last that long. But yoga was not it, was not one of them. 96 and 97 and 98, I was on top of the world, just signed a multi-million-dollar 3-year deal, and then bang. I blew out my L4 and L5 so bad.
Vertebrae?
Yeah, the discs in between them.
Jesus.
So I'm bone on bone immediately. I blew out my L4 and L5, and I had 3 of the best specialists in the world tell me my career was over. So around that time, Kimberly, she's like, why don't you try yoga to heal your body? And I literally was quoted in the Wall Street Journal, fuck that. I wouldn't be caught dead doing yoga, but I put F dash 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 that. The Wall Street Journal wrote that. The first article they had written about what I was doing when I just called it yoga for regular guys. So backdraft, we're in 1998, going into 99, and if I didn't wrestle, the first year my contract would have got cut in half because I would have done play-by-play or something. But the next year it would have got cut again in half, and it would have got, that's the way it was written, it got cut again. So it would have been worth a third of what I signed for. And it really wasn't the money, Jay, as much as it was being in that spot. I worked so hard to get there. Now they're telling me I'm done. So at that point, I try anything. Now I'm doing rehab because I've rehabbed both shoulder surgeries, both knee surgeries. I'm going for the back surgery, but I start doing the yoga too.
So your wife, she's the one that actually talked you into it.
Bullied me.
It is amazing. I'm happily married still, and it's like everything that's worked out the best for me in my life is just because my wife said, why don't you just try it?
We need that.
And we always go, no. And then after like 2 years, you try it, and they're completely right.
Yeah, but someone else might have told you. But I told you that.
Yeah,
right.
And they're right.
Yeah. And well, in this scenario, I really.
Where was the first place you went to do yoga with Kimberly?
I didn't. I did it, and I wouldn't go out and do that. I wouldn't be seen doing yoga.
So you did it in your house?
That guy. Yes, I'm the.
So who taught you?
VHS tape. It was a VHS tape, and I wasn't into all the spiritual mumbo jumbo that went along with that. But and there was no one modifying any of the positions, which I had to figure that shit out because no one did that.
What do you mean modify the positions?
Like if I'm going to take you into a lunge, how do you make a lunge? If you're staying in a lunge long enough, that's hard as hell. How do you make it easier? Step in, or lower your knee. Like I deal with a lot of people that are broken up. I was that person.
Right.
So I figured out how to modify every move. And after about 3 weeks, I was blown away that I was starting to feel like, okay, I'm getting more flexible here. I'm getting a little stronger here. So one night before I went to bed, I was doing some of the yoga positions. You'll never hear me say pose or posture. Again, DDP yoga, it ain't your mama's yoga. I went completely the other way. I got rid of all the spiritual stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But, I
got rid of all that faggy breathing.
No, the breathing's huge. The breathing's huge. I get rid of the humming and the chanting. But I mixed the yoga positions with the rehabilitation techniques that have healed my shoulders, healed my knees, healed my back, healed my hips. So I'm mixing them together, and then I threw in old school calisthenics, push-ups, squats, crunches. I developed this for guys. Women love this workout. We just ran into a doctor who's a chiropractor at the Real Inn. Is that where we were at, the Real Inn?
He's sleeping.
He's out.
Marlon's asleep.
The fish place that's right down there.
Yeah, I'm out.
And she was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it." She's like,
make sure when you play this back, you go, "This is the part where you were sleeping."
Oh, he's snoring. I can hear him snoring over here.
He's gone.
My buddy Marlon, but I got a lot of women who love the workout, but I never developed it for them. I developed it for guys. So within the next 3 months, Jay, I was back in the ring. At 32, at 40,
3 months,
less than 3 months
after the discs.
After the discs, because what had happened for me, when you're bone on bone and you've blown out those discs, it's all about the nerve endings and stuff, and all the juice that comes out of your disc, your shock absorber.
Yeah.
So what I started doing was building all those muscles all around that, so it wasn't bone on bone. And I developed something I call dynamic resistance, which is just like it's isometrics meets isokinetics, where you're flexing and you're engaging, which jacks your heart rate up. DDP Yoga today is a kick-ass cardiovascular workout that'll dramatically increase your flexibility and strengthen your core like never before with minimal joint impact. And if you're a warrior who's beat up your body, you need minimal joint impact. Unlike P90X, Insanity, CrossFit, awesome workouts, but beat the hell out of your body.
Yeah.
I'm healing your body. In less than 3 months, I was back in the ring. At 42, they said my career's over. At 43, I was the heavyweight champ of the world. So I'm going to keep doing that.
That is awesome, dude. So it seems like, look, I got messed up feet. You can see pictures of my feet on Instagram, Jay Mohr Sports. I had bunion surgery that didn't work, so my feet are all whacked out and crooked. So like if I don't jog on sand If I just go for a jog like on the street for 2 miles, I'm sore for 4 days. Like, so I know what you're saying with the impact stuff. So if somebody, by the way, your whole, I love the love you give back to the fans. What's your Twitter handle?
At Real DDP and at DDP Yoga.
It's
and
both?
I'm on there all the time, yeah. And I'm on both of them because that makes the people. Some people don't want to hear about DDP Yoga, so it's going to. But it's covered with it because there's so many people. You see the love I get from the people.
Yeah, and you're giving a lot of love back. You're a good Twitter follower because you're constantly engaging with people. They're like, "Hey, I used to weigh this. Here's my photo. Here's my photo after."
Crazy.
It's good. Now, here's my thing about yoga. I can't do
not yoga. What's it called? What we're doing?
No, here I'm not talking about your yoga.
Okay,
I'm talking about yoga.
Okay.
Because if I got fucked up feet, I can't do the warrior position on my left side because I'll fall over because I'm structurally unsound because I got half a foot on the left side. My wife's issue with yoga is that her number one thing, her anxiety is about breathing. So if she's in a yoga place and they keep going, let's really focus on the breath, it makes her freak out because she doesn't want to be reminded about the fact that she's breathing. Does that make sense? A lot of people.
It takes time. I fought it in the beginning.
But like, if she starts thinking about her breathing, she's going to be like, am I breathing? It's like a weird anxiety she has that I used to have too. So what I like about DDP yoga is like you keep everybody so engaged and so focused, and the exercises this is what I like most about it is you are exceptional at completely isolating certain parts. It's not like when you go to the gym and guys are doing like skull crushers and you're like, man, you're doing your tricep, you're doing your shoulder, you're fucking up your back. Like, I've seen you just completely isolate parts of the body where people's whole bodies are trembling just because you're engaging their core and their abs and stuff like that. And so I don't really have time to like worry about whether or not I'm breathing because I'm super focused on what you're telling me to do on the DVD. So kudos, man. It's cool as hell. So what was it your pushback that you didn't want the guy that didn't want to leave his house to go do yoga? Was that the reason you created yoga, to make it cool for yourself that you would be out in public doing it? Or is it the fact that you made more money doing this yoga than you ever made doing wrestling?
Well, you know, it's really funny. What's really funny is
answer. You know what? I came in that one sideways. Have you made more money on DDP yoga than you did wrestling?
Yes.
That's amazing.
But think about what happened. You know, a guy at 35 starts wrestling, and at 43 is the world champ. Yeah. And that's our Oscar. You know, it's our Emmy.
Who did you beat for the championship?
Oh, it was amazing. It was a 4-way dance. It was me, Hogan, Flair, and Sting. Woo! And Flair took the diamond cutter in the middle. Randy Savage, the Macho Man, was the guest referee and handed me the world title belt. It was like I couldn't have written that.
Yeah, full circle.
The biggest. I put Hulk out with a knee injury on the bar on the steel post. I put Hulk out, and it just proves all the hard work. If you really stay focused and you never give up, and you don't let everybody tell you what you can't do. My favorite quote ever was, "If you say you can or you say you can't, you're right." Henry Ford said that.
I love that quote. Here's what I got a question for you, wrestling-wise. We know it's scripted, but I still like to watch it.
Sure, it's good.
I just wish there was more wrestling and less chatter. It seems now it's just 90% chatter, 10% wrestling. They'll actually go to commercial during the wrestling to come back to talk to more people. Right. But if it's scripted and it's a 4-way match, and Hogan, you guys are going to flip around, do this guy's going to do this, somebody's going to come in and hit you with a chair, and it's scripted a month out that you're actually going
Never.
When did they tell you?
You might know who's going to win going in because you're building to that. But I did not know I was going to that until that week. And the match itself, we talk, but nothing. It's more of think of an outline. Think of it comedy where you've got a great preparation. You've got awesome preparation, but you've got amazing improvisation.
Yeah, I got a great premise, but I haven't filled in the blanks yet. So
exactly.
But
the people might not buy it. Nobody's laughing. You're shifting.
Impossible.
Not as many people laughing.
Impossible, man. Come on, man. So that.
Well, I've had some dead nights. I'll tell you. So I've had to shift gears.
That lends itself to how talented and what great athletes you guys. When Rob Van Dam was in here, and I've known Rob a super long time, he said the reason he stopped wrestling is he was never wrestling. He's always running his mouth and shoving people and waiting for somebody to come down the catwalk, and then chicks are jumping over the rope and stuff. But for you guys to just do an outline and be doing jumping off the turnbuckles and top ropes and doing suplex off the ropes and stuff, that speaks volumes for like, there's more trust in a wrestling ring than there is at any stupid trust camp or like marriage counseling camp where you're falling backwards or walking on coals. Like if you're going to let Hulk Hogan go off the top rope and do a leg drop on you,
and he's never doing that. But there's plenty of guys. Rob Van Dam did the craziest shit ever.
Yeah, no doubt. And we made his comeback. I was like, oh, get paid, brother, get it.
I love him.
So, but you know, a week out, you're going to be the champion. Right?
Yeah, well, it could be. And again, it could be that night. But either way,
that night.
Before you got out there,
But you said it just now. You knew that week.
That there was talk. I didn't know until that day.
Now, is that Vince keeping everybody on their toes? Or they really just don't know?
This is before.
Oh, this is WCW.
WCW. So it was Hogan that made that call. It was like, it's his time. Like when I came walking in the locker room, it was just me and Hulk Hogan. And by the time he'd been out of the match and he'd been in the back, and he's a pile of sweat. He's got his knee braces down on the ground. And I walked through the door, and he says to me, I swear, dude, this is one of the most magic moments of my life as far as getting the payoff. And when I walked in the door, Hulk looked at me and he goes, congratulations, man. He goes, this is what this business is all about. That a guy like you, that no one thought was going to be anything more than a joke, could work so hard from being a manager to become a believable wrestler to be the top guy in our industry. He goes, this is what this business is all about. And he gave me a freaking big hug, and it was like, wow, because that's the guy. That's no matter The Rock, Steve Austin, two of the greatest, but there's only one Hulk Hogan. And that was the guy, and it was just a great moment of all the work, put in.
I'm fascinated with how I keep going back to it. I'm sorry to be a pain in the ass.
No, go.
But Vince, I would think, wouldn't let you guys know until like an hour before the match who's going to win.
He would know before that.
All right.
The day.
Okay, well, then that lends to my point. And back in WCW, you knew before you stepped through the ropes that you were going to be the world champion, the WCW champion, right?
Yeah, don't fuck up the finish. don't screw your shit up here.
Make sure you kick out on two, stupid.
No,
But yet, when Randy Savage hands you the belt, I'm saying, not in the script, in real life, to that kid from Point Pleasant, New Jersey, that's like the most amazing trying not to cry in front of 40,000 people moment in your life, right?
Absolutely.
But what is it? What makes it so amazing if you know the result going in?
I think, again, it's like if
it is scripted.
Yeah, but it's still, it's still not real. It's still not real until you're there. And I've seen it where finishes have gotten changed in the matches. Like I've seen it because the referee has a mic in his ear. Anything.
First of all, I never knew that before.
Yeah, the referee's going, oh, this is so classic. I'm wrestling Randy the second time. First time I beat him, that's what put me on the map. It made me top guy in the world. Boom. The next time we get in the match, they're going, go home, which means finish up the match. It's a 3-hour block. You get to the 3-hour block of your comedy special, boom, or the 1-hour block with 2 hours, whatever it is, you go to a next show.
Yeah.
Wrestling, you go to the next show at 3 hours. Right. And they're going, go home.
Who's yelling it?
The referee.
He's yelling to you, too.
Referee. And by this time, Scott Hall has come in, and when he hit you with something, he hit you with something. He hit me with the belt, knocked me silly, then gave me his finish, knocked me to Queer Street, and then Savage, who I've been pissing blood for 13 out of 16 weeks by this time, from him landing on my ribs. Nothing fake about it. Nothing. And I said, Randy, please land on my stomach. It'll look the same. This time he landed on my face. And now here's what happens. I'm walking backstage. I look at Kim. I go, did I just wrestle? She said, what? I said, did I just wrestle? She said, stop it, Paige. You're scaring me. I go, fuck Kim. What's the deal? Is it Nitro? I go, what's the hell happening? I go, I just wrestled. She goes, no, you just wrestled Randy Savage. I said, oh, God, tell me what happened. So what happens is Randy covers me. 1, 2, 3. Scott Hall raises his hand. You can watch this on YouTube. It's the second match I have with him bashing the beach. You'll see me halfway sit up and go back down. Thank God. They go to dark. I sit back up. I stand up. This is the equivalent of John Wayne and Clint Eastwood filling you through holes and you getting up and pulling a Scarface and going, it didn't matter. You know, I fall through the ropes, give them both the finger, and walk down the aisle. And now I'm where I'm at with Kimberly. I'm like, oh, God.
When Scott Hall comes through the ropes and blasts you with something from behind, at that moment, does the ref know? Does he let you know?
Everybody knows where we're going at that point. We all know the finish, but we don't know I'm going to get knocked out. We sure as hell don't know what I'm about to do.
More importantly, you don't know you're going to get knocked out.
Well, I don't know. I don't. I'm thinking hopefully you're going to like graze me. You're going to make it look good and not kill me. But sometimes people would say, so how do you fake those chair shots? You don't. Right. And so now I know these guys are going to come walking through that curtain. This is like fighting shit. This is like the ultimate no-no in my business is to stand up after you've taken not one finish, but two and a belt. And I really was knocked out, so I went right in the locker room.
Gave him the fucking finger as he rolls out of the ring. You're the best. Fuck you guys, man.
So I go in the locker room, and I put one of those big tables in front of me, right? Because I know this is like coming in like face-to-face. This is going to get a little pushy, you know, so I'm trying to diffuse it as much as I can. So that door kicks open, and they start motherfucking.
Why?
Because
they just knocked you the fuck out.
No. I stood up. You don't do that. This is like the ultimate no-no. You stay dead. You let them leave and someone helps you out. If you just got shot by John Wayne and Clint Eastwood.
Right, but I could see it from your point of view. You just, like, to me, that's just good TV. Like, the fans are happy.
But I think what he's saying is that he got fucking knocked so silly. He didn't remember. Like,
I understand that. Okay. For them to get mad that he did it.
Oh, no, that's like the ultimate no-no. I've seen guys. I saw the Samoans one time in Tennessee. These two, they left the ring, and these two young kids from Tennessee jumped up and raised their hands because they were in Tennessee, and they got the crowd popping like, we're not hurt. Those Samoans went back in that ring and beat the fuck out of them down the aisle. Down the stairs, no cameras.
Afa and Sika.
There was two younger boys. It was actually Fatu and Sammy, and they left them a bloody mess. I mean, that's like serious fighting.
Not
shit.
Scripted. They just they go and fuck
no
them
TV,
up.
no nothing. This is like real life. They beat I guarantee you they never did that again.
No.
You know?
So you're waiting for the doors to get kicked open by Randy Macho Man Savage and Scott Hall.
Right, and it did. And right there they start motherfucking me, and I'm like, listen, come on. I got knocked out. I go, you think I'd ever do that? And then I push the table out of the way. I say, if you think that I would do that, then let's go. And they walked out. Now, here's what happens. In the right side, I start to feel a little knot. That knot becomes a golf ball. We go to the hospital. By the time the hospital, it becomes a softball. So I've got this huge softball in my mouth. They tell me I can't wrestle, but I took myself to it because once you have a concussion, you can't wrestle. But I'm in the main event the next night. So
Who are you wrestling in the main event?
Bret Hart.
Oh, boy.
In the next
That's
night.
the big star.
No, it wasn't Bret Hart. It was... I think it was Scott Hall. I had to wrestle Scott Hall because he came in. Yeah. Bret Hart was after my Goldberg match, which I was destroyed.
How about how much you guys wrestle? You just got knocked the fuck out. You got to get on a plane, go to another city, and just do it all over again to a different guy.
70-plus days a year when you're in that spot.
That's crazy.
When I went to the Hollywood Squares, people said to me, so, Dallas, when's your time off? I said, when I'm hurt. That was real.
Sitting on an airplane. I got 4 hours off.
So I go to the doctor see myself because if I go to WCW doctor, going to say you're off, and then it takes you out of the money, blah, blah, blah. So I want Randy to see this, and we're in Chicago. So I'm waiting at the end of the ramp. Everybody comes in. Everybody's got to walk in this way. This is where all the tow trucks and big rigs and everything comes through. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm waiting. And I look like Alvin the Chipmunk. So here he finally comes. And he comes walking up, and he comes boom, 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 walking up to me, and he goes, sorry, brother. And he walked away. That was it.
So what was your injury in your cheek?
It was just swollen. It was just turned into. It took a while to go down too. It's just funny. I mean, when it was a golf ball, I was like, "Wow, that's weird." But when it became a softball, and I even had a picture. I took a picture of it, opened my mouth, so you could see I didn't put cotton in there.
Yeah,
I mean, it was that swollen because of his dropping. I have the video where he drops on my head, and it was that he didn't really hurt me. Is a miracle. That's really is.
DDP yoga. What is that? What you're most proud of in life? I mean, you got kids, so obviously you got to take that off the table.
Yeah, but
kids obviously is what we're most proud of.
That's a whole different animal.
So professionally, you were world champion. You were the man. You were European champion.
Yeah, well.
You were the best manager in the WCW. You had your own nightclub. But like out of nowhere, you create this DDP yoga. I mean, this is look. I'll be honest with you. The first time I hear Diamond Dallas Page and he has his own line of yoga out, I go, I guess, like, well, I'd love to talk to him, but like, do we really have to talk about the yoga? Then I watch. I'm just straight up with you.
I get it. I was that guy.
Yeah,
I get that.
and I'm just. If I'm nothing if I'm not honest, and everybody knows when I'm full of shit. So you know what I do? I try not to ever be full of shit. And then it came up again, and we've been doing the dance about you coming on the podcast. It's been about a year.
Yeah.
And then I saw the DVDs, and I looked at your Twitter feed and your interaction with the fans and the people's photos of what it did for them, and I went, "This is fucking like real legit. Like this is no joke." Because it's. I think pro wrestlers, there's such a stigma attached that people don't want to take you seriously in anything. Like whether it, like The Rock's the guy that broke through, where people actually go buy a shitload of movie tickets to go watch The Rock. They don't give a fuck what he did if they could smell what he's cooking and all that shit. And it ain't gonna work. I mean, Stone Cold got in the Expendables movie and all that stuff. Like there's a couple outliers, but you ain't gonna see Coco Beware selling fucking Tupperware in the middle of the day. You know what I mean? But this yoga thing. It's completely taken off, and it's like this multi-million-dollar business. But I love that you keep it completely one-on-one and personal, and people you've never met. I'm watching you on Twitter go, that's fantastic. That's even better than the last photo you show me. You must spend all goddamn day on Twitter talking to these people.
I go on and off. That's the key. 'Cause you don't want to be too much. I do a lot of retweets to people because, you know, what they're saying is like, wow, I can't believe you just said that. But everything really, the proudest thing I am is the disabled veteran that I helped walk again. The video, that's the first thing people see when they go.
God, he was 400 pounds when you started with him.
No, he was. That guy was 297.
Who am I thinking of?
I'm not. Well, there's a bunch of 400.
Maybe I made it up. No, there's a 400-pound person that you helped walk.
519. Who just his name is DJ, and he just was at my house because at 2-year mark he was down 240 pounds. Wow. So I brought him.
This is from yoga.
DDP yoga.
I don't think of yoga as losing weight, Dallas.
First of all,
how? Why?
They do not do dynamic resistance in yoga. And what that is, let's do something. Just put your mic down for a second.
All right.
Okay. You hold the mic for me, bro? Yeah, sure. I'm going to show you. Oh, he's got to hear what I'm saying. Marlon.
Marlon's asleep.
Oh, he's asleep. All right. Put your thumb and index fingers together like this.
All right. Thumb and index fingers.
You're not going to be able to do that unless you... Marlon, wake up.
Here, I'll do this. Here. You go ahead.
Dallas brought his buddy with him.
You tell him what to do.
He's out like a light.
I think he's malaria.
Okay.
You tell him what to do, and I'm going to repeat it.
All right.
That's cool.
All right. You're going to push your thumb and index fingers together.
All right, so he's telling him to put his fingers together like a diamond.
Open your fingers out like this.
Open his fingers.
Push really hard here. Feel your hands, your forearm, your biceps, your back have to engage. Do you feel that?
I do. When she told me, I made them all engage.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to get you to do. Now straighten your arms. Now I want you to pull your pinkies away from your thumbs. Try this at home. Push your thumb and index fingers together. Spread your pinkies wide. Look at your forearms. Look at your tricep. Look at your deltoids. Now keep pushing here and create resistance as you're moving. Just don't lift, but a little bit faster than that. Lift your hands above your head like you're making a diamond cutter sign. Keep going back. Arms out to a T. Clench your fists tight. And Hulk it up, brother. Tight, 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 tight. Attention! Shoulders back more. At ease. I see you're just starting to perspire a little bit.
Right now, my heart rate's like at 120. No joke. We were doing that for maybe 35 seconds.
I can get you
my
up
forearm,
to 160, 180. You don't want to be that high.
I'll ask anybody, when was the last time your forearms were ripped? That was 30. That looks like a pack of hot dogs, your forearms. Look at all those veins. Have a carb, would you?
Just like you're lifting weights.
Bro, that was like the easiest thing and the craziest easy thing I've ever done. But at the same time, like I felt results immediately. Because when you said engage your chest, I went, oh. It was like a light switch going on. And all of a sudden, all I was doing was pressing my my thumb. I was doing the diamond cutter.
Right.
But facing the floor.
Right.
So my palms were facing the floor. And I'm just pushing them together, which anybody could do right now. But if you go, okay, but push them together. I'm just re-explaining it to the listener.
Sure.
But now push them together, but spread your pinkies out, but engage your chest. Now all of a sudden, everything gets connected. Basically like you're a human hula hoop from your fingertips.
Or straight out in front of you, but it doesn't matter where you're going. If you just grab a curl, you grab a dumbbell, and you grab the curl right there, your heart rate's going to go up. Don't grab a dumbbell. Just grab a imaginary dumbbell and just pull it up 3, 2, 1, and then back down. 3, 2,
with no weights.
1. No, you don't need weight. Now, to build bulk and mass, you need weight. To look like I look at 223 pounds at 6'4" and flexibility.
You can make me 6'4"?
I don't know about that. Here's my flexibility code. You see me sitting. I'm sitting out in the car. I was waiting to come in because I didn't want to come in too early because it was your crib here. But here's my flexibility when I blew my back out. Here's my flexibility code.
All right. He's basically blowing himself standing up.
Shit.
This is amazing.
Let's clarify. That's my forehead was on my shin.
Yeah.
But core strength.
Well, that's how I blow myself.
Core strength is a whole different level of flexibility.
Okay.
When I could take either foot.
Diamond Dallas Page now standing on one leg, and the other foot is actually over his head, Van Damme style. But this is amazing. This is great balance, dude.
Good balance,
and
too.
you got like a 32-inch waist on you, man.
34.
Wow, just go with it. I'm trying to sell you some
33
DVDs.
actually.
I'm trying to sell you. They don't make 33s. What are we in Italy?
Oh shit!
I'm trying to sell you some DVDs here. Go with the 32. So it's just stuff like that.
Yeah, it's just about engaging muscles. There's no yoga that does that. None.
You really just like the guy that created Pilates.
Right. Different. He created something completely different.
And that's what you've done with yoga.
Right.
I mean, I'm calling. I'm not asking. I'm saying like like what you just showed me in that short amount of time. My mind now is racing. Like, what else can we do? What else can we do? What else can we do?
You got me fucking pumped on it too.
Yeah.
See now, forget you two guys because you were me. You wouldn't be caught dead doing yoga. Your wife will get you to do it.
No, I would go do yoga, but I can't stand up because my fucking feet are half crooked.
And I think we can fix that too. I think we can work around that. If you haven't seen the disabled veteran video yet,
yeah, tell. I interrupted you when you talk about what you were most proud of, and that was the disabled veteran.
I met him 7 years ago. The video has we released the video 2 Mays ago. It's got over 10.7 million views.
Where do we watch it?
ddpyoga.com.
Okay.
It's the first thing you'll see. He's 5'6", 297. He could not move without the aid of knee braces, back brace, and wraparound canes. He'd been on them for 15 years. You'll watch a video, which you'll watch when we get done with this, because you're going to want to link it to your deal there, because people are going to want to see it.
Okay.
And a lot of people have seen it and shared it. That's how come it's got almost 11 million views. In less than 5 minutes, you'll watch a guy get up and fall down, and get up and fall down. And it's not about how many times you get up, or I should say fall down. It's about how many times you get back up again. But over that less than 5 minute video, you will see him lose 140 pounds. But more importantly, he will lose the knee braces, the back brace, and the wraparound cane, not just to walk, but he runs. And he is the reason why Chris Jericho does DDP yoga. And he went from, because I said, Chris, just watch this video, and if you're moved by it, I can help you, who herniated his L4, and he was done. 5 weeks later, he's 85% pain-free. 3 months later, he's headlining WrestleMania. When Jericho...
And not addicted to Vicodin. That's usually
not addicted to Vicodin.
Yeah, that's
right.
the route you would go down if you had an
You'd
injury
have to.
like that and you had to wrestle.
This is the pain reliever. Today, I've got over 40 guys in the WWE doing DDP yoga. And I never call it yoga because I don't want to be over there with all the yogis. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But they all doing their thing.
You're not lighting incense before you get going.
No, I'm really not. I'm about
you're putting on some Motorhead and you're getting after it.
And we're not going to start in child position. We're going to stand up, and I'm going to get you engaging your muscles. And in the first 3 minutes, I'm going to have you jacked and in the fat burning zone. But I don't want you to go too far. I want you to stay right in your zone. That's why you wear a heart monitor. And that's why when you have someone like the disabled veteran, Arthur Borman, go through the morph that he did, he uses a chair to add himself so he can keep his balance. And he fell a lot and used that chair to get back up. Well, eventually he didn't need that chair. And, today, the big story is what happened with Jake the Snake Roberts, because I brought him back in again about 20 months later. I should say 20 months ago, brought him into my house, my new place I bought in Atlanta. And I brought him in, and I became his mentor in owning his life. Now, we've been doing this, Jay. You will flip when you see this movie. It's called The Resurrection of Jake the Snake.
Is he sober now? He's good?
He's sober about 95, 96% of the time. He has fallen. And we showed this is an addiction.
But like you said, you got to get back up.
Get back up again.
We're both in recovery.
Well, then you will really love this movie because it does show that what happens and what you go through at times. And here you pick yourself back up. But Jake, we got him in the Hall of Fame. And it was 18 months when I was at his house. I've got all the footage. When you see how beat up and brittle and broken down he is and then where he comes to. I mean, it just shows you that anybody who changes their mindset and wants to go back into recovery, but also has something else to help build their body back up after they've beaten it up so bad. That's where we've had just unbelievable luck.
I'm going to take... What's up, Matty Boy?
Nothing. I was just going to say, that's me right there.
How much you beating up your body?
Yeah, over the years.
Matty's one of those guys, he'd come home Saturday night. He's my brother-in-law. I'd be with his sister, and he'd come home, and his nose would be over where he could look like a Picasso. We'd be like, what happened to you? He's like, I dove into a pool, there's no water. You're like, oh, okay.
No fucking clue. Just good,
no idea.
Starting fights.
He lost a lung. He's been after it. He had a good run. So this is what I want to do at Dallas. We will do this, obviously. This is perfect. It's synchronicity. I'll make sure when this episode airs that the Borland video of the disabled veteran is up on jmohr.com. Cool. And then when I'm doing J Mohr Sports, my radio show, Matty Boy cuts promos for me to play on J Mohr Sports, the radio show, which is nationally syndicated. Right. And I'll say, Diamond Dallas Page is coming up. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes. Make sure you watch the video. It's up on jmohr.com. And if anyone's done it, call the show. Let me know how it is. Like, we'll feed the machine.
Cool.
Because you're just
Can we work out? Like, I'm going to be back here in L.A. because I do this little movie that I'm doing. It's like a one-day shoot thing. But I'm actually going to be flying in here next Wednesday, and I don't have to be on the set till like 8 o'clock or 6 o'clock or something. So if you guys want to get a workout, I will come over and work with you personally.
Yeah.
It'll be awesome.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
And if you ever want to come on the radio show and just talk shit, let's talk about your Jets that suck. Are you a Jets fan or a Giants fan?
Well, I'm more of a Dallas Cowboy fan.
That's how you get the nickname. Yeah, people don't realize
that's
that.
Where it
Did
came
you know
from.
that, Matty? That's how he became Dallas Diamond Page. His real name is Page.
Paige Falkenberg. Now, we knew that money wasn't going to draw a lot of money in professional wrestling.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paige Falk. That sounds like an Oscar for best sound. Goes to Paige Falkenberg.
Yo, I'll tell you. I'm more of
You're waking up Marlon. Keep it down.
God, he is like, ow, dude, are you awake yet? What's that? Oh, what's that? Dude, I was trying to get you up to do something with Dynamic.
We drew pictures of cocks on your face.
The real crazy story is that now that snake that was lost, dude can bench like 456 pounds.
The snake, the DDP yoga. The snake now got legs and armpits. Snake said now has armpits. DDP yoga, ddpyoga.com. I want to make sure I get that right. Yep. And this is awesome. And I can't wait to get after this because my wife's been saying for about a year, I want this a little smaller. Like, she doesn't want to be like a Cameron Diaz muscle lady. Right. She just wants to take what she is and just what we all want to do in the sane world is you just want to modify.
Sure, and sculpt.
And this is exactly it. Like, there's all these different things. And when you said the magic word, low, it's not high impact because that shit jars your body. Like, it's great. This is awesome. Before you go, I got to ask you this. What is the stupidest storyline in your wrestling history that you actually saw get up and running? To me, let me start.
To get up and running.
Yeah, let me give you mine first. So it's not like you're throwing shit on WWE or WCW or anything like that. when WWE had the commissioner and it was a computer in a box that they lowered from the ceiling and it spoke in a computer voice, you must wrestle Sheamus for $1 million. I'm like, somebody wrote this, and 14 other guys went, I like it. Let's try it in rehearsal.
That's good.
That's good. Yeah.
No,
yeah. Is that the worst of all time?
No, that is the worst of all time. I can believe it.
Did Freddie Prinze Jr.
I wasn't watching, but I always will flick and I'll go, "What the fuck is that?"
Did Freddie Prinze Jr. write that?
I don't know. I knew they got a lot of people from Hollywood to do stuff, but people from Hollywood to a certain degree really don't understand wrestling unless they're a wrestling fan.
I got the best storylines of all time. I could turn it on a dime. I'd have.
I can probably hope you make that happen because you have the kind of stroke, but you don't want that job because that job
part-time job. I do it part-time. I mail it in.
Let me tell you, there's no one like Vince McMahon. The week after he had hip surgery was at TV. He's 65 or 66 years old.
65,000. He's from the Jurassic era.
Dude, he friggin' rocks the bell, and there's no such thing. Like everybody works their ass off.
What was the worst one other than the commissioner, other than his wife running for congresswoman?
Yeah, I really don't. That's the only one that really stuck with me. I'm going to start going.
I couldn't believe what I was watching.
When they lowered the gimmick down and dong dong with the bell, whatever that was,
Yeah.
they were like to let you know. No, that was brutal. And there's been some really good stuff too.
Oh, there's been great ones.
And
how about this? Every fan hates when the referee says, "Hey, knock that off, or I'm gonna disqualify it." Then the guy does it 40 more times.
Never happens.
Or the guy, the referee gets distracted on his 20 count when the guy's outside of the.
That's a mistake, though, when that happens.
Yeah, right.
Ref, it wasn't his fault.
How about this? You get a referee that is nobody knows is an actual huge up and coming wrestler, right? You just pull him out of the gyms. He's ready to go anyway. So, but he's the referee. He wears whatever. He's dressed like a ref. He looks like a buff ref.
Sure.
And guy comes out, rakes the eyes. I'm talking 8 seconds into the match. You rake the guy's eye. The ref goes, "You do that again, you're out of here." And the guy turns around, rakes the eyes, and the ref. Now we're 14 seconds in,
right.
And the ref goes, "Hit the bell." And raises the other guy's hand. The other guy goes batshit. 14. He beats up the ref, and that's the ref. Like he's the new ref.
Right.
That actually on a 10.
The fans would be pissed off at him too, though.
But eventually, that ref is going to be called to the carpet by like 14 different wrestlers, and that ref gets to take off that goddamn referee shirt on live television, and America goes, "Whoa, I didn't know homeboy was jacked like that."
Right.
And the ref goes, "You know what? I'm so sick and tired of you crybaby millionaires. I work for a living." Like Steve Austin always says, I'm
right.
for the working man.
Right.
So you have a variation of that. And then the ref, one by one by one by one.
Might have
and
something
the only thing is, whoever's ref in that match, we got to wrestle by the rules. I don't want anybody distracting me. I don't want anybody coming in. I don't want the tag team partners fucking around. The tag team, you got to hold that little rope in the turnbuckle, right? That's as far as you're allowed to go, right?
Yeah.
Nobody, they're never near it. I want the ref to look and go, "You're away from it." Boom, hit the bell, out. Everybody just gets tossed for 6 months, and there would be a goddamn revolution. Social media would want this guy killed.
Oh, absolutely.
All the fans that don't
want to kill him.
All the fans that don't know it's scripted and it's a show would want this guy killed. And then when the reveal happened, fucking bro, we're up and running. It's WWE 2018. I got you covered. And DDP and me, side by side, we'll manage the guy.
I'm putting it on you.
You want nothing to do with it. He's like, "No, I don't want nothing to do with this cockamamie referee idea."
No. But
all right, here's my second idea.
Tell you what, way better.
4 Jamaicans, they can't stop fucking.
Way better. What?
That's my other idea. Just fucking Matty spit on his board. So you want nothing to do with my good guy referee idea?
No, but you know what? It's way better in the lowering.
But why
the shit
wouldn't
out
it
of the
work?
ceiling. I'm not saying it wouldn't. I'm not saying because
well, when you want nothing to do with it.
But I don't. I'm not. I like to I like to show up, hit someone with a diamond cutter, and leave. Because that's all I can still do that at 58.
You be the guy to come in, hit somebody with the diamond cutter, and then I disqualify the guy that you helped.
There you go. I know you're settled. You really have thought a lot about this referee.
I thought about it since I was 12 years old, Dallas. I'm not joking.
Because as a kid, it pissed you off. How can he not see that?
Yeah, it made me crazy.
He's reaching into his pants. He's got a foreign object.
And then I like when they check the guy. You know, they check the boots for foreign objects.
Yeah.
I like when it's a barefoot guy and they check the feet anyway. Yeah. Like when the Samoans are going in, they check their feet for foreign objects. Like he's got a razor blade stuck under his epidermis.
Right. Hey, but he could.
Yeah. I also like UFC fights. I like when they look inside the guy's mouth before the mouthpiece, like checking for halitosis. So ddpyoga.com. I cannot tell you guys how badass this is. I believe you're now advertising,
Yes.
and I must say, these people know that listen to this podcast. No, I am not fucking bullshitting them. I'm telling you. I'm not saying these things about DDP Yoga because DDP Yoga is a sponsor on the show. What happened was I finally saw DDP Yoga and I said, we'd love to have him on. Would he like to advertise on the show? And DDP was like, yeah, fuck yeah, man. Let's get after it. It's hand in glove.
As far as I'm concerned, if we can break even, I'm happy.
You'll do more than break even.
It's more about
these are loyal listeners, dude.
Getting the word out, and let people and just as on Shark Tank. This will air later, right? This will air not this until Friday.
Oh yeah, you're all right.
Yeah.
3 weeks from now.
Yeah, because we were on Shark Tank the second
time. Totally just lied to him. I'm gonna fucking get him fired from Shark Tank.
It was we already had the first show, so it don't matter. But having that, it was such an amazing thing. Our numbers went through the roof, crazy.
Oh, good.
But it was just awareness, people getting more to see, and I actually had Arthur on the show with me, and so when people actually see him live and he went into this crazy split from standing, I can't do that, but he can go right into a crazy split and do the foot over the head and all that, and they're like, you're that same guy.
Yeah. So
now,
this is like, you don't need to cut anybody in, you don't need any business partners. DDP Yoga, this is the new P90X.
Well, I think it's going to be in the next 3 years, I think it's going to be a household name. I really do.
Well, there's a million people right now that know it's a household name because they're listening to this, doing yard work, delivering mail. As Stone Cold says, the worker man, guys that work for a living, and gals that work, people in Australia, people in New Zealand, people in the Philippines, a lot of expats.
Move in, and she was like, no snakes. I'm like, of course, no snakes, But I didn't, we're going to hide it. It's not like it's going to be in a bag, in a box. So it's not like she's ever going to see the snake. And then about 3 months in, and I've learned a lot from Jake by that time. My shoulders getting back. I'm actually getting ready to start doing some independent shows with Jake, who was bringing me in. He was mentoring me. And one night I hear this crazy laughter. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And then I hear it again. And I look out the hallway and I see Jake, and he's got that black 12-foot-long cobra, and he's playing with it. So I'm like, what the fuck? And I go running down the stairs. And as I stop, there's that laughter again, and it's Kimberly. So I just walk right on by that, and I go right into the kitchen because I got a call about getting this gig because Jake was also teaching me how to set, get myself with the promoters and how to get myself booked. And so now I'm on the phone with this promoter. About 10 minutes later, I get the gig, hang up, and I come walking out to high five Jake. He's nowhere around. All of a sudden, he comes walking down the stairs. I'm like, dude, high five me. I got the gig. And he blows right by me. He goes, big problems, big problems. I go, what do you mean big problems? He goes, lost a snake. I'm like, what? He goes, lost the snake. I go, fuck you, man. Don't tell me you lost the snake. I go, stop ripping. He goes, dude. And he grabs me. He goes, I can't find it. I go, where the fuck is it? He goes, it's in the bathroom. I go, it's this big. It's like 5 feet. It's a little bathroom with a little shower and stuff. So we both look in the door. Now, people don't notice about Jake, but he's scared to death of snakes. Swear to God. Well, when he's Jake the Snake on TV, he can be bigger than life, or when he's high. And I don't know it at the time, but he's high as hell right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, in the documentary we've seen, Jake was no stranger to the substances, but I wasn't going to bring it up until you opened it up, because I don't want to throw your guy under the bus.
No, because that's part of what his whole story is about, and overcoming the addictions right now. The bottom line is we get in there.
He's afraid of snakes.
Oh, man. So we're looking in the bathroom, right? And we can't, it's like I'm scared of snakes, and I'm definitely scared of a cobra, because I never asked him, is it devenomized? So we're looking around, Monsignor or something, and he was buzzed all the time. He loved his wine.
Why'd you get tossed out of St. Joe's?
Oh, God. That was after sophomore year. the girls' locker room was right across from the guys, and it was like a ritual. Girls would get thrown in the guys' locker room. It was like happened year after year. I mean, this just happened every day. And the one time that I'm involved in it, and we, put this guy, I'll never forget her name, Beth Zalzatowski. We throw her in the middle, and she's like, oh, and I'm thinking, guys, we did this too early. And everybody, was dressed, and she's looking around, and then I just mooned her on the way out. And the next morning, it was like the Gestapo, man. They pulled me, Stan, and Mark to separate rooms, and I took the fall for mooning in a Catholic high school.
That you took the heat. You didn't rat on anybody.
Well, it was just, we just told it the way it went down, and there was someone was going to not get the 49 demerits. Someone was going to get tossed out, and I took the fall.
You were that guy. In the beginning, we're going to talk about Dallas Diamond Page yoga, which is it's like the new P90X. It's sweeping the country. It's I didn't realize how damn amazing it was. I got wind of it about a year ago, and then when I was looking through Twitter and stuff, and I looked online, people are just sending you photo after photo. Like, I weighed 400 pounds. Now I weigh 200 pounds. I'm built like a brick shithouse. I bench press DJI Fridays. Like, people do yoga, the Dallas Diamond Page yoga.
Or Diamond Dallas Page.
What did I say?
Dallas Diamond Dallas Page.
All right, well, either way works for me.
You know what it is? It's just DDP.
DDP? That sounds like a finishing move.
It is. Actually, Jake's DDT and my diamond cutter were so close that it was sort of easy for people to start chanting DDP because of, I guess he was my mentor too. So,
yeah, I saw on your Wikipedia page that you went to Jake the Snake for psychological advice to deal with the industry. Now, of all the people in the wrestling world to go to get your head straight, I would think Jake the Snake Roberts maybe lower third on that list, if not dead last.
Well, maybe.
Guy walked into the ring with a goddamn...
Put your name on it. Just put your name on it. That's all I say. Be a man or a woman. Put your name on it.
Well, I'd like to hear about it, potheads.
How the fuck you gonna know how to be great if you don't study greatness? Look at the game tape.
Donuts.
If you want a battle, it's either that you will or you won't.
You know, you're not a bad-looking man, Mr. Gals.
But you are, Blanche. You are in that chair.
There's something wrong with us. Something very, very wrong with us.
Hey, man.
We're rolling.
May we begin?
We may begin.
Diamond Dallas Page in the house on Mohr Stories. My man, first of all, you're a big glass of water, dude. You hugged me. Actually, you went for the handshake, and I went for the hug.
Well, actually, I'm a hug dude, and I see you coming with a hug. I'm going right for the broski hug, though.
I don't think a lot of people would think Diamond Dallas Page of the...
Dude, Vince McMahon and Steve Austin, when they started hugging, was off the rib off of me. When I finally met Vince McMahon, he went to shake my hand. I said, and we were in traffic, like big time to get there. Plus, I'm a guy who grew up in Jersey. So I grew up watching the WWF. So I've been watching Vince since I'm like 16.
Yeah.
So when I got to him, I go, no, dude, handshake ain't going to cut it. I gave him the big hug. And next thing you know, every time Austin and McMahon saw each other on the tube, they would hug.
They give a big hug.
Big hug.
They stole hugging from you.
They
Diamond Dallas Page invented the hug.
It was a rib.
Every time you hug somebody, Diamond Dallas Page gets $5. That's what people don't realize.
Woo, that would be sweet.
You start, first of all, I'm going to go back to South Jersey because I spent my summers in Barnegat Bay. My grandfather was in Bayville and, Tom's River and all that.
Sure.
So I know you're a Point Pleasant guy, right?
Yep. I got thrown out of St. Joe's, which is in Tom's River.
Didn't they change the name to St. Joe's?
It's like Senior, I can't remember his name. It was a head priest there.
Snake around his neck in a bag.
In real life, in the match, in the ring, the stories he told, are epic.
Yeah.
And he had probably some of the greatest feuds and greatest matches of all time. And that, everyone knew that he was the best psychologist in the business. Now, outside of the ring, maybe not so much.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What best psychologist in the business?
Well, you got to remember that I don't want to spoil this for anybody, but wrestling's predetermined, and
What?
Sorry to spoil that for some of you.
What?
but there's a story. It's just like a movie. And, being a writer and a comic, you know that there's the high points you hit and the low points, and then you bring them back up. And for wrestling, it's about making the good guy look good and then the bad guy cheating, and then how they tell that story to get to the spot where now they're actually going for finishes and trying to win and giving them false finishes and making the people actually 1, 2, ah! It's a work, but they're in it because it's like live Broadway. Jake, nobody did it better than Jake.
Yeah, Jake was a creepy guy. Like the fact that he brought a boa constrictor in the ring, but it was in that weird sack. Like if you walked in with a snake around your neck, that's creepy. But the fact that he just kept it in like a weird burlap sack, and you never knew when he was going to let it out. Right. Like that's really like other level creep factor, man.
Well, then he took it to the Cobra. And the Cobra was, who wants to face a Cobra no matter what? It ain't like he's dropping that Cobra on top of you. But he lanced it right into Randy Savage's arm and it chewed on him. Because Cobras don't snap, they gnaw.
But aren't they poisonous? Why didn't...
Well, they take their, again, he lost that Cobra in my house.
Please explain.
Oh, man.
He was, when I tore my rotator cuff, I started wrestling when I was 35. And I tore my rotator cuff about 9 months in, and they let me go. It's like wrestling meat on the hoof. They don't, it's like football. And Jake, at that time, we'd already become buds, and I hadn't seen him for a while. And he called me up to check on me. Long story short, he was split up with his old lady. He ended up moving in with me. I convinced my old lady to let him. And all of a sudden, he gets on his knees, and then he hits the vanity. And he goes, because that's what cobras do. Snakes go, tss. Cobras go, and he goes, he gets up, he goes, he'll come out. I'll get him in the morning. And he goes to walk out of the bed, like, where the fuck you go? And he goes, I'll come back in the morning. I'm like, Jake, no. Now, I'm jabroni boy, Jake. I'm like way under him at this time. I'm like, Jake, you can't leave here. Get the fucking snake out. Kim's going to go crazy. And he's like, dude.
Kim is your wife.
Kim is my wife at the time. He's like, dude, I'll be back in the morning. I'll get him out. Jake takes off. My old lady freaked out.
So he just closed the bathroom door and
put pillows in front because I had cats, and they would jump up and open the door. So when she wakes up in the morning,
circus cats.
Oh man,
what kind of cat knows how to open a door?
They were like little levers. They just jump up and they would open the door. So I didn't want one of them to walk in there and then get eaten by the fucking snake.
Yeah.
So long story short, she starts healing on me. So I do what I have to do. I start healing on her. I'm like, hey, it's all right. I'm going to get the snake out. He's going to be back here this morning. And she's running around, Sophie, Spooky, grabbing her cats. And
Smokey and Spooky.
Yeah, it's like,
wonder what color they were.
It was like Barnum and Bailey at that point. And she's like, but Paige, what happens if the snake snuck up into the wall? I go, he's not going to be stuck up into the wall. She goes, but when they push those vanities in, they don't put the sheetrock all the way to the bottom. And I'm going, oh, fuck.
Oh, she's right.
What if that snake goes up into the wall?
Then it's
not going to go over the wall. Blah, blah, blah. Bottom line is Jake came back 3 days later.
Oh, jeez.
And
now the snake's 6 feet long.
So I ended up getting a snake handler guy to come out.
What?
Well, it was actually an
Did he have like a flute?
Well, he was an
magic carpet.
An animal wrangler. And like that little board that's in front of your vanity, they all got him,
Yeah.
And he pulls the board out, and there's that snake, and there's the sheetrock, like 8 inches from the ground. All that cobra's got to do is duck his head and take off. And the wrangler looks at me and goes, by the way, is this snake devenomized? I go, I don't know. He goes, what do you mean you don't know? I go, it's not mine.